guys, and welcome to Tomi's World. If you are one of my senior subscribers, then thank you so much for your continued support. And if you are a new subscriber or you're just passing through to hear me talk about how I live in Japan and speak no Japanese and how you can do it also, then stay tuned. Okay, so when I say I speak no Japanese, I mean I literally speak no Japanese, because I've heard many people here say they do not speak Japanese, but they are able to order for themselves or have a short conversation with Japanese people. That is not me. I am the opposite of whatever that is, okay? When I came to Japan, I knew only 3 words. Konnichiwa, which is hello. Ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning, and sumimasen, which is I'm sorry or excuse me. Sumimasen has many meanings. I studied those 3 words because I thought they were going to be the words that I would need for like everything, because I knew I would be saying sorry a lot because I'm new to the culture and I know nothing, and I was right. So how can I possibly live in Japan and not speak Japanese? I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's definitely not easy. There are days when it's really aggravating to not be able to speak the language of a country that you live in, but there are ways to get around it, and we're gonna talk about those. So I have my little flashcards here because I know that I'm going to forget a lot of stuff that I actually want to say. So you'll be seeing me looking at them from time to time. I hope you don't mind, because I just need to give you accurate information, guys. So the first thing we are going to be looking at is the cons of not being able to speak Japanese and live in Japan, right? So the cons. The first one that I have here is that you get left out a lot. And that is definitely true, because whenever the teachers in my staff room have like teachers meeting, everyone will just leave, and then I will be the only person just sitting in the staff room. And once I was asking my sensei, like, why does everyone just leave me in the staff room? And he was like, well, it's an all Japanese meeting and you do not speak Japanese. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense, but kind of hurts, you know? It hurts. So one of the second cons about not being able to speak Japanese and living in Japan is that you probably won't have many Japanese friends. And that is true for me, but also I'm an introvert. So I don't have many Japanese friends, and the fact that I don't speak Japanese does not make it easier, because it would be easier to just reach out to somebody if I could like have a Japanese conversation, but I can't. So that makes a lot of things a lot more difficult. The third con of not being able to speak Japanese and living here in Japan is that everyday simple tasks get a lot harder. Going to the supermarket, using your washing machine, any simple thing that you can think about that at home you're like done, then it's gonna be hard here. I'm just telling you, I'm giving you this heads up, girl, like it is. Because when I just came to Japan, I was trying to use my washing machine, and I got so frustrated that I started to cry, and I called my dad and I was like, I want to go home. I can't do this anymore. Yeah, and that was on like my 5th day here, because all the settings for the washing machine are in Japanese. When you go to the supermarket, of course everything's gonna be in Japanese because this is Japan. So it's a little bit difficult to maneuver your way around if you don't speak or read any Japanese. And the final con that I have of not being able to speak or read Japanese while living in Japan is that you are often treated like a child. So it is almost just like you are a baby when you do not speak any Japanese. You cannot write your name. So when I just came here, we had a lot of forms to sign where I had to write my name, and I could not even write my name in like katakana or hiragana. So my teachers were writing my name for me. They were making a lot of decisions that I was left out of, even though it was about me, mainly because I spoke no Japanese. So at that point it was more of, we'll just take care of it and just leave you out of it. And it was a little bit annoying because they made decisions for me that I probably wouldn't make for myself, but there was no way I could say no, I don't want that, because I can't speak Japanese and I didn't understand like half of what was going on in most situations. However, there are a few pros to not being able to speak Japanese and living in Japan, and we are going to talk about those, even though I'm not gonna lie, the cons kind of outweigh the pros in this situation. However, one of the pros that you have for not being able to speak Japanese and living in Japan is that once you hear no one speaking English, then you know no one is speaking to you. Mind your business, okay? So many times I will think that someone is talking to me. Like when I was back home, if I hear people talking and they were like looking at me, I would always be like, oh, they're talking to me. But you never make those mistakes here, because if they're not talking English, they're not talking to you. And sometimes even if they are talking English, they are not talking to you, okay? But 99% of the time, if they're talking English, they're definitely talking to you. Okay, one of the other pros is that the workload for persons who don't speak Japanese is a lot less. This could be seen as a pro or a con, depending on who you ask. But for me, I think it's a pro. You don't have a lot of tasks to do like the other Japanese teachers, because you don't speak Japanese, you can't read Japanese, so they can't trust you to like fill out forms or make certain things that they would probably ask you to do if you could speak Japanese. So I think that's a pro, you know? I think so. Okay, and the last pro that I have is that you never understand when people are being mean verbally, because I'm not even gonna lie, there are times when some Japanese people are not the nicest people you will ever meet, and they say things that are really hurtful. Like, they will say, a lady once told me that I am scary. Y'all, I am probably one of the nicest people you will ever meet, and she said I was scary, and she didn't even know me. I'm just like, what? So I think it's a pro that sometimes you have no idea what they're saying. So even if they're saying things that could otherwise be hurtful to you if you understood, you don't. So you don't feel bad. Yes. Okay, so let us talk about some tips for surviving in Japan when you speak no Japanese. One, my first tip is that you should make friends with people who actually speak good Japanese, because these people can do many things for you that you cannot do for yourself. If you need to call your gas company or your cable company or any company at all in Japan, they can help you with that. If you need somebody to play like a translator for you when you need to take care of business here, they can help you with that. Just make friends who can speak Japanese and also speak English. It will make your life so much easier as someone living in Japan who cannot speak Japanese. My second tip is that you need to look at pictures. It's almost, as I said before, it's almost like you are a child all over again. So you're just looking at the pictures, and I do this a lot when I go to the supermarket because I have no idea what it's actually saying because I can't read Japanese at all. So I'm just there looking at the picture or just looking at the package itself, and that's how I'll know that this is chicken or this is soy sauce or anything really that you're trying to get. Just look at the package and look at the pictures, and it should make it a little bit easier for you. My third tip is that you need to read up on the traditions and norms of Japan. So if you're gonna come to Japan and you speak no Japanese, then something that you could do to make your life easier and make a lot of the other Japanese people's life easier is that you can just read up and be knowledgeable of the norms and values that they have here, so you don't become like a burden, you know?
This gaijin speaks no Japanese and she's so rude.
Don't be that person. Don't be that foreigner, okay? My fourth tip is to learn basic words. So I've learned a few basic words since I've been here, and it's made life so much easier. I've learned words like oishi, which means tasty. I've learned words like kawaii, which means cute. I am kawaii. I've learned words such as kirei, which is beautiful. Don't get it mixed up with kirai, which is actually I hate. Guys, you know, just learn some basic words. It should help you so much with getting around your daily life in Japanese, but you don't need to like study the entire language. Just a few words should help you to get through your daily life. My fifth tip is to try to understand the basic context of the conversation, because regardless of how you try, there will be people who will try to speak to you in Japanese, and even when you say you don't speak Japanese, they will still try to have a conversation with you. And I think that's kind of a good thing because you're actually meeting people and learning about them. So it's not that bad of a thing, but it can be really annoying to be telling someone I don't speak Japanese and they're still going at it with you, and you're like,
what am I supposed to do? I don't understand.
So just try to understand the basic context of the conversation, because what many Japanese people will do is that they will oftentimes use a lot of gestures to talk. So if you understand the gestures and just kind of try to grasp the basic context of what they're saying, then you should be able to understand what is being said. And in this situation, your one words that you're learning also come into play. For example, I was on the train and there was this lady. She was determined to talk to me and I had no idea what she was saying, but she kept on saying the word sensei and ego, which means English. So I'm like, oh, she's trying to say like I'm an English teacher. I did not understand anything else, but I'm like, yeah, ego no sensei. So if she was asking any other questions, I have no idea if I answered her correctly, but she knows now that I'm an English teacher, so that's something. Okay. My final tip is to use translation apps, and trust me guys, these have saved my life. The translation app that I'm currently using is Google Translate, and it is amazing. You can just take pictures of anything at all and it will translate the text for you so you know what it's saying. So now when I go to the supermarket, I just take a picture of the pork or take a picture of beef, and it kind of translates it and let you know that this is beef, this is pork, this is soy sauce. It takes a lot of time, I'm not gonna lie, to just be walking around the supermarket taking pictures of every single thing that you want to read. But you didn't learn Japanese, and that's kind of on you. It's difficult. Okay, so my final tip that I will share, and basically the end of this video, is learn to laugh at yourself. You're going to mess up. It's a new culture, new norms and values. Everything is going to be new. Just learn to laugh at yourself. You did something wrong. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just know that you did something wrong. Learn from that mistake and don't do it again. Because it's a new culture, and even if you can speak Japanese, there would still be things that you would do incorrectly, and that's just the way it is. So if you are an incoming JET and you got accepted to the JET program, then congratulations. I know that it is difficult and the application process is long and winding, so you did a great job. And if you're coming in on Interact or any other teaching in Japan programs, I think you will have an amazing time here. Stay tuned to my channel and I'll show you all the travels that I do here in Japan. I'm having a wonderful time. I've met so many amazing people, and I just have to say thank you to everyone. So if you're coming to Japan and you speak no Japanese, worry not. Just get your translation app, get your one words, and learn to write your name, and you'll be fine. Okay, bye. I could make you feel nice.